My parents tried to give my inheritance to their favorite daughter, but my grandparents had a surprising twist in store. It's wild how family dynamics can get, isn't it? You think you know the people closest to you, but sometimes, money, or the idea of money, just brings out the absolute worst. My story starts pretty typically, I guess. I'm the older sibling, the responsible one, the one who always followed the rules, got good grades, built a stable career. My younger sister, let's call her Chloe, was always the free spirit, the charming one, the one who could talk her way into or out of anything. And my parents? Well, they adored her. Absolutely doted on her. Anything Chloe wanted, Chloe got. Me? I got the lectures about responsibility and saving money, which, ironically, I actually did. Growing up, it was subtle, Chloe getting the slightly bigger birthday gift, the extra scoop of ice cream, the easier chores. But as we got older, the favoritism became glaringly obvious. They paid for her entire college education, including her study abroad trip to Italy, while I worked 2 jobs to get through community college before transferring to a state university, taking out loans along the way. They co-signed her lease on a fancy apartment downtown, while I was still living in a tiny studio above a noisy bar. They bailed her out of credit card debt more times than I can count, always with the excuse that she was still finding herself. Meanwhile, I was meticulously budgeting, paying off my student loans, and trying to save for a down payment on a small condo. I didn't resent Chloe, not really. It wasn't her fault our parents treated us so differently. But I did resent my parents. The unfairness stung, a constant, low-level ache. The real kicker, though, the thing that truly fractured our already strained relationship, came after my grandparents passed away. My grandparents, my mom's parents, were wonderful. They were kind, fair, and saw right through the favoritism. They'd always made a point of treating Chloe and me equally, slipping me $20 here and there when my parents weren't looking, taking me on special outings just the 3 of us. They were my rocks. When they passed within a few months of each other, it was devastating. They had lived frugally but invested wisely, and everyone knew they had built up a comfortable nest egg. The will reading was tense. My parents, Chloe, my aunt and uncle, and I gathered in a stuffy lawyer's office. The air crackled with anticipation, though I tried to keep my expectations low. My grandparents had always been fair, but my parents had a way of influencing things. The lawyer cleared his throat and began reading. Most of it was standard, personal belongings distributed, some charitable donations. Then came the main part, the residual estate, the bulk of their savings and investments. And that's when the bomb dropped. The lawyer read, "To our beloved grandchildren, we leave the remainder of our estate, to be divided as their parents see fit." My blood ran cold. As their parents see fit? My parents? The ones who thought Chloe deserved the world on a silver platter while I should just be grateful for the scraps? I looked over at my parents. My mom had a tight, triumphant smile. My dad was nodding subtly. Chloe looked blissfully unaware, probably already mentally spending the money. I felt sick. This was it. This was the ultimate act of favoritism, sanctioned by my own grandparents' will, or so it seemed. The car ride home was silent, but the unspoken intentions hung heavy in the air. A few days later, my parents called a family meeting, just the 4 of us. They sat Chloe and me down on the living room couch, the same couch where I'd received countless lectures while Chloe got comforting hugs. My dad cleared his throat. "Kids," he began, his voice overly cheerful, "your mother and I have discussed your grandparents' generous gift, and we've decided how best to honor their wishes." My mom picked up, her voice smooth as silk. "We know things have been a bit tough for Chloe lately, trying to get her artisanal dog biscuit business off the ground." "Yes, you read that right. And we think Grandma and Grandpa would want us to give her the support she needs right now." I braced myself. "So," my dad continued, "we've decided that the inheritance will go towards helping Chloe establish her business properly and secure her future. We know you understand, honey," he said, turning to me, his eyes pleading for me to just accept it, to be the bigger person yet again. "You've always been so self-sufficient." Self-sufficient? I was self-sufficient because I had to be. Rage, cold and sharp, pierced through the numbness. "So, you're giving everything to Chloe?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly. "All of it?" My mom waved a dismissive hand. "Don't be dramatic. It's not about giving it to her. It's an investment in her future. And by extension, the family's future. You have a good job, a stable life. Chloe needs this boost." Chloe finally piped up, "Yeah, sis, it'll be great. Maybe I can even hire you to do my books." She beamed, completely oblivious to the hurricane raging inside me. I stood up, shaking. I can't believe this. After everything? After how they always treated us? You think this is what Grandma and Grandpa wanted? For you to cut me out completely? My dad stood up too, his face hardening. We are doing what we think is best, as the will instructed. It's our decision. My mom added, don't make this ugly. Your grandparents trusted our judgment. That was it. I turned and walked out, ignoring their calls behind me. Tears streamed down my face as I drove away. It wasn't just about the money, it was the ultimate validation of what I'd always known. In their eyes, I was secondary. Replaceable. Self-sufficient enough to be ignored. I spent the next few weeks in a haze of anger and hurt. I avoided their calls, ignored their texts. What was there to say? They had made their decision. I started looking into legal options, but everyone told me the same thing. The will clearly stated the decision was up to my parents. It seemed hopeless. Then, about a month after the disastrous family meeting, I received a registered letter. It wasn't from my parents, it was from the same law firm that handled my grandparents' will. Confused and wary, I opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper and a smaller, sealed envelope with my name handwritten on it in my grandmother's familiar script. The letter from the lawyer was brief. It stated that, as per his client's instructions, he was to deliver this sealed envelope to me personally, 30 days after the official will reading, only if the distribution of the residual estate, as decided by my parents, was not equal between the grandchildren. My heart started pounding. I carefully opened the sealed envelope. Inside was a letter from my grandparents, written shortly before my grandfather passed. It read, "My dearest granddaughter, if you are reading this, it means our concerns were warranted, and your parents have not divided our legacy fairly between you and Chloe. We feared this might happen. We love your mother, but we were never blind to her perspectives. The clause in our will giving them discretion was a test, one we hoped they would pass by treating you both equally. Clearly, they did not. We wanted to ensure you were taken care of, regardless of their choices. Therefore, we set up a separate trust fund for you many years ago, managed by Mr. Henderson, the lawyer, completely independent of our main estate. This trust contains assets equivalent to half of our estimated total estate value at the time of its creation, plus accrued growth. Mr. Henderson has the full details and instructions. We trust you will use this wisely, build the secure future you deserve, and know that we have always seen you, valued you, and loved you for the incredible, responsible, and kind woman you are. Don't let anyone else's choices define your worth. With all our love, Grandma and Grandpa." Attached was a statement detailing the trust fund. The amount listed made my jaw drop. It wasn't just half. With the years of growth, it was significantly more than the entire residual estate my parents were so gleefully handing over to Chloe. My grandparents, my wonderful, clever grandparents, had seen this coming. They had played the long game, setting up a safety net for me, ensuring my parents' favoritism couldn't touch my true inheritance. They gave my parents a chance to do the right thing, and when they failed, their backup plan kicked in perfectly. The relief washed over me in a dizzying wave, followed by a profound sense of love and gratitude for my grandparents. They hadn't just left me money, they had left me validation, protection, and the ultimate proof that they saw everything. The twist? I haven't told my parents or Chloe about the trust fund. Why would I? They made their choice. They chose to believe I was self-sufficient enough to be disregarded. Well, thanks to Grandma and Grandpa, now I truly am. Chloe got her investment. I hear the dog biscuit business isn't exactly booming, and my parents get to live with the decision they made, thinking they pulled one over on me. Little do they know, my grandparents had the last laugh, and I'm quietly building the future they always wanted for me, funded by their foresight and love, completely free from the shadow of my parents' favoritism. Sometimes, the best twists aren't loud explosions, they're the quiet, satisfying click of a well-laid plan falling perfectly into place.